Hello, everyone. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. So, today we are trying out something new. We're trying to go live on both Facebook and Instagram. So, let me know. Let me know if you can see me on both platforms. Was cut off for a second. Yeah, I think we're back live on Facebook. Okay. So we are, like I said, we're trying something new. We're trying to go live on both Facebook and Instagram. I can check. Let me just do a quick check to make sure that I'm being heard on both platforms. Okay, Facebook appears to be live. Let me know if I am audible. And check. Okay, so Facebook, surely I am live there. I can see. Instagram, I hope I'm live on Instagram. Okay, so welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. Yeah, it's been a year. It's been a year. This is the last day. Can you believe it? The last day of 2024. The final day. This is it. So, Happy New Year in advance for some people. Some people actually already in the new year. So if you're already in the new year, Happy New Year. If you are not yet in the new year, like some of us, Happy New Year in advance. 2024 has been a year. It's been an interesting year. So please do let me know if you happen to be on Instagram. Let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me, if it's clear. And also on Facebook, let me know, whichever platform you're watching on, let me know that you're there. Let me know that you can hear me and that it is loud. Okay, so yes, this is Growth Habits with Ngozi. Like I said, I'm your personal guide on the journey of growth, and we have been on this journey for quite a while. We've been discussing change management, and today is the last day that we are going to talk about change management. Then we'll move on to something else. But I think we're going to take a break. Maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. I will let us know. I will confirm. We'll take a break and then come back. Because I also need to rest, like I thought us some time back. So I will take a short break from the live sessions. I will continue my postings and all that, but I think I will take a break from the live sessions next week. I'm not sure of the upper week. I should be back by the upper week, but for next week, I will not be here on our live. And please remember our mentorship programs. They're on Seller. If you are joining on, okay, someone has confirmed the Instagram. If you're joining on Facebook, you should see the link to the Seller page that has all our programs plus our journal, everything. They're all there. So if you click on that link, it will lead you to where you can book a one-on-one clarity session with me. It will lead you to where you can book a 1 month mentorship, 3 months mentorship, 6 months mentorship, 1 year mentorship. There's a basic plan, there's a premium plan. So once you click on that Seller link, I will have to post it on Instagram afterwards. But once, I will have to post it on Instagram afterwards. If you click on that link, it will take you to our Seller page and you'll see all that we have to offer there. All right. Having said that, let me do a quick recap of what we have done so far on change management. So we started this series on managing change because, going into the new year, and here we are, that's new year. At the cusp of that new year. So we decided to look at how you can manage change, because this is one thing that change is constant for sure. That is one. But many of us don't plan for change. Yes, we know change happens, but we generally don't plan for change. And because we don't plan for change, we have New Year's resolutions, we have the plans, our goals for the next year, and before the end of January, we are done. But if we plan properly, if we plan well, we will be able to carry out the things that we want to carry out better, and it will be more sustained. It won't be after 1 month you're tired. No. So that is how we began to talk about change management. So the things we have looked at in our first session, we looked at an introduction to change management. What is change management? What is it all about? And change management, we agreed, is a structured approach to help individuals, to help teams, to help organizations transition from their current state to a future state. It's expected that the future state is a better state than the current state, but that is also up for discussion, because some people's plans don't always go as expected. So just a structured approach, a plan that you put in place to get you from where you are to that desired future state that you want. That is basically all change management is. But because it is a process, is a system that helps you consider possible things that could go wrong, actually. It helps you look at, step by step, how am I going to achieve the change that I'm trying to achieve? And as you look at it step by step, you plan for it, the possible things that could go wrong, you try to make provisions for it. Now, of course, we cannot, it's impossible to eliminate risk completely. It's impossible to plan perfectly for tomorrow, but at least we can make that attempt and eliminate as much of the uncertainties as possible. So that was what we looked at our first session. The next session, we looked at the different types of change that is possible. We looked at strategic change, we looked at structural change, technological change, and cultural change. Now, this does not mean that there's no other type of change, but just about everything can be categorized under these four broad headings. So those were the different types of change we looked at, and we agreed that when you understand the type of change you're dealing with and the implications of that change, then you can manage it better. All right, that was session 84. I think we've done quite a lot of sessions in this change management. We started with 83. Now this is 91. So that will tell you. So session 85, we looked at the process, the step-by-step guide of change management, of managing change. And we looked at planning, we looked at communicating, implementing, and evaluating your processes, evaluating what that change process, your goals, the things you want to achieve. That was session 85. Session 86, we looked at the role of leadership in change management. And you might say, this is only for when we're talking about an organization. Not necessarily. You can also look at the role of leadership in a personal change management process. You are that leadership. So you have to be able to step up and take responsibility for the things that you want to achieve. Many a times, it sounds funny to say you have to take responsibility for the things you're trying to achieve, but most times I find that people do not take personal responsibility for the change they are trying to, achieve. They easily find excuses. They easily find whose fault it is. But as a leader, you need to take responsibility. You need to even understand the vision as a leader. You have to truly, truly understand where you're trying to go. You have to, like I said, you have to have been there. Not physically, because of course you cannot physically go into the future. Just 1 minute, my light is bending in a strange way. Okay. You can't physically be in the future. That is, I say, humanly impossible. But you can, in the process of developing that plan, that vision, you can visit the future in your head. You can see, you can experience that place you're trying to get to in your head. So it is essential for a leader to understand the vision to the extent that it's like you have been there. That is part of what we talked about as part of one of the roles of a leader in managing change, and also being able to know that resistance will come and figure out a plan to manage that resistance is very, very important. And it's one of the things that is expected of a leader. All right, that was session 86. Session 87, we talked about developing a change management strategy. We drilled down a little bit more on the change management process to develop an actual strategy that will help you achieve that change that you're going for. A structured plan, and that plan will guide you, your team, whoever needs to undergo this change. And one of the things we talked about that is essential to align your goals to your values, or to the company goals. The company vision is essential. You align whatever change you're trying to embark on to that, because that will help you to achieve that change better. Once your goals, your vision, your plan aligns with your innate values, the values that are in you, the possibility of bringing forth that change successfully increases exponentially. So, that was what we discussed in session 87. Session 88, we looked at communication strategies in managing change. And we said that it is key. It is key that we communicate our change process to the relevant stakeholders. It is essential. You can't keep people in the dark and expect them to help you achieve your goals. More especially, in a setting of a team and a corporation, whatever it may be, it is essential that you communicate, and you communicate clearly. Clarity of communication is key. I find that we thrive in not, appearing verbose in our communication, using big words to confuse people. Doesn't help. If you must get people to come along with you, if you must get people to help you to achieve your goals, to achieve whatever it is that you're doing, you need to be clear. You need to be simple in your communication. You need to ensure that people understand what you're saying. They cannot follow a vision they don't understand. There is no way. So you have to ensure that people understand. Even on the personal level, the stakeholders, for example, a personal journey to live healthier. I don't know why this is the only example I've been given since I started this process, but your personal journey to live healthier, if the stakeholders, your family, your husband, your children, the people who are your immediate stakeholders are not carried along, they don't understand what you're embarking on, the tendency is that they will not support it. They will even be your biggest saboteurs without realizing it. It's not as if they're going to, make up their mind, I'm going to sabotage this process. No, but because you didn't carry them along, you didn't communicate it, they didn't catch the vision, they didn't understand what you are trying to do, they would have sabotaged it without knowing. So it's essential to communicate effectively, to communicate clearly and simply. Very, very essential. Section 89, we looked at change management, engaging employees in change initiatives. Now, this, yes, was tailored more towards an organization, more towards a team than just individual change management process. And you have to engage those that are going to implement the change. You have to engage them. And engage them early. It's not just to engage them early. They must understand the change from the onset, from the beginning. They have to understand the change from the beginning. So, okay, I'm just quickly checking on Instagram if there's any message. So that is how it is. That was session 89, engaging employees. Let them know from the beginning what this process is all about, because it will help in achieving the goal. They will have a sense of ownership. They will have a sense of this is our thing and not this is their thing. Okay, so I'm trying to adjust my lights today. They seem to be a little off. Okay, so that was session 89, right? Yes. So session 90, that was the last session. We talked about overcoming resistance in change. We know that change is constant, but so is resistance to change. Anything you're planning, any big thing you want to achieve, any vision you may have will be resisted. Just to know it. It will be resisted. Who is going to resist is what you don't know. How the resistance will come, you might not know, but just to know that resistance will come. And knowing this will help you prepare for that resistance. It will help you put in place the things that are necessary to ensure that the change happens, to ensure that you achieve your goals. Resistance is natural. It's natural. It comes naturally to us. So just know that it will definitely happen. But the way that you handle it, the way that you prepare for it, will ensure that it does not impact your goals as it should. Okay, so that was a quick recap of what we have done so far on change management. Today, we're going to look at measuring the impact of change. And like I said, this is going to be the last in this series on change management. We're going to look at measuring the impact of change. There is an impact. There is an impact to change. It's not, there is no way you can carry out a change initiative. There's no way that you can carry out a plan and there is no impact. There is always an impact. So you need to be able to measure the impact so that you adjust where necessary, you pivot where necessary, and you do the necessary things. So we're going to look at the ways that you can measure, the ways you can take care of the impact of change. I'm just going to look at a few key concepts quickly. Margaret, Coach Ify, welcome. Thank you for joining me on Facebook. And okay, Chinyere, the bombshell, thank you for joining me on Instagram. All right, so we are doing this experiment today. Hopefully we can sustain this and then add YouTube live along the way. We're still working out the kinks in all these things. Hopefully we can do all the platforms live all at the same time. That would be amazing. So we're going to look at some of the key concepts of measuring the change, impact. One of the, how do I put this thing? One of the most important aspects of the change process, we have talked about this over and over in all the sessions that we have had, is that those goals, those objectives that you're trying to achieve, you have to have a clear understanding of them first and foremost. We have said this, I think every single session we have mentioned this aspect. It is essential that you have a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve. It's not just to put down your targets. It's not just to put down your goal. It's not just to put down the vision you have for the future. It's not enough. You have to understand what that goal is. You have to understand the vision of it. Like I said, you have to have been there in your head. You have to have experienced that future you're looking forward to. So up here is essential. When you do that and you have that understanding, it's easier to craft a way forward, and it's easier to make quick changes, to adapt quickly. It's much easier when you have a clear vision of where you are going. In the times when motivation wanes, in the days where things are not going quite as planned, is that clarity of vision you have in your head, is that that place that place you're heading to that you have seen in your head, that is what is going to make you wake up and continue the journey. That is what is going to make you, when the resistance and all those things come up, you will find a way. But if in your head you have not truly grasped this vision, truly, you have not truly grasped this goal, you've not fully experienced it up here, when the things that happen out here begin to happen, you will give up. That's the general way it works. So it's essential to understand truly, define these goals. Don't just say in 2025, I will lose weight. No, it's not enough. It's actually not enough. Even to say in 2025, I will live healthier, it's not enough. That is so general, that is so vague. One, the goal has to be more specific. If you want to be able to track your progress on it, it has to be more specific. And not only does it need to be more specific, it needs to have like it has to have, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know why this word is escaping me. The goals have to have, okay, let me go to the weight loss. You can't just say I want to lose weight. You should be able to say I want to lose 10 kg in 3 months or something, 5 kg in 5 months, whatever. But let it be something that you can truly track. Let it be something that you can truly say, oh, I achieved part of it. So it's essential in defining the goals, the objective, the vision that you're trying to pursue. It has to be well defined. It has to be properly defined. The goals have to be something that can be measured. This is why we have New Year's resolutions we never do anything about, and that we give up on before the end of January, because we just have vague ideas of what we want to do. Okay, I will be more intentional in 2025. What does that even mean? What does it mean to be more intentional in 2025? You have to be able to define that goal, that target. You can't, the days of saying, New Year's resolution, I will lose weight in the next year, they're gone. The world has left that stage, really. You can't achieve much with such vague goals and targets and objectives, whether personal, for a team, for an organization. The goals have to be well defined. They have to be measurable. They have to be something that the outcomes can be tracked. They have to be something that, for example, for a company can say they want to improve efficiency, but that means nothing. Anything can be an improvement on efficiency. Anything can be an improvement on efficiency. But when you sit down and you say you need 20% increase in customer retention, for example. See, now this is something you can track. This is something you can say, I'm 10% done on it. It's something that you can be more, that will be easier for you to track. But now the key is, you have said you want to increase customer retention by 20% in the next 6 months, for example. What does that look like? That 20% increase in customer retention, what does it look like? I hope I'm getting across this point that it is essential that our goals, we have a complete picture of that future state. Remember that change management is going from where you are to a desired future state. What does that future state really look like? That 20% increase in retention of customers, what does it really look like? Not just in the figures. What will it do to your organization? What will it do to your business? What does that future state look like? Define the goals. What's the word now? Just define the goals and make them something that is truly measurable. And remember, you must have seen this future state. You need to have experienced this future state in your mind before you can bring it out physically and it becomes reality. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a good explanation of that first concept in being able to measure the impact of change is understanding the initial goals, the initial initiative, the initial objective that you want to achieve, understanding it and making it measurable, trackable. Don't just give general plans, general goals. Let them be something measurable, something that can be tracked. Okay, yes, Sosa says, well thought of. Yes, think it through. Think it through. Consider all the possible deviations. Consider all the possible things that could go wrong. Consider, if I think through the whole plan, don't just make vague plans. They don't usually work. When we have all these vague, I will do this in 2025, they don't usually work. They don't. So, that is the first thing. Define those goals, define them, make them measurable. The next thing is to identify key performance indicators. What are those things that will help you track this goal? That will help you know you are moving towards this goal. That will help you know that you're being successful in achieving this goal. Those key things that will indicate progress, that will indicate failure if it is failure that's happening, those key things that will indicate that you're moving forward or that you're standing in one place. It's essential that you identify them. Sit down, get the matrix, get the figures. See, that is something that always helps me, truly. Before I used to have the same general, I will lose weight. I will be more productive. I will grow in the coming year. I will be more intentional in the coming year. I set goals like that also. I will improve relationship with people, and I will write these things down. And let me just give myself some, no, I don't even know. By maybe ending of January, first week of February, I've almost abandoned everything. I've almost left everything because I did not have any way to track them. They were not fully thought out. They were just grandiose plans, castles in the air. But when I began to put some clarity, some level of clarity to my goals, I no longer say I will be more intentional, because more intentional means nothing really. It really means nothing. I began to take each aspect of my life, my personal life, my spiritual life, my business life, my career life. I would separate all of them and look at, what do I want to achieve in my personal life? Okay, I want to be, for example, which one will I give? I want to be more friendly. I want to develop human capital. That's the word. That's how we put these things now. But it just means you want to have more friends. You want to be more friendly. You want to make more connections. How do I go about it? These are the things I do. I want to be able every quarter to have made some significant connections with a minimum of 2 persons. So this is something I can track. More than I just want to be more intentional with relationships. But I want to make 2 significant connections over the first or the next quarter. 2 significant connections. It could be connections in my career, in my personal life, in my spiritual life. Is up to me. And I set that target like that. So this is measurable because it's 2. I know it's 2 in 3 months. So what do I now need to do to ensure that in 3 months I've made 2 significant connections? I would also go ahead and define what significant connection means. Significant connections can also be vague, but I would go ahead and identify what I mean by that. Once I have done this, it's easier for me to begin to look for the connections that are significant than if I just have significant connections in my head. So I've drilled down and I've looked at what does this significant connection look like. It could be I want to connect with two people doing the same thing I'm doing. I want to connect with two, whether organizations or persons whose growth mentorship is international. I mean, so these are just drilling down on my goals. And once I have drilled down like this, it is more trackable. I can check if I'm achieving it. By the first month in that year, I should have connected with 10 people, new connections. This is how I develop my key performance indicators. I should have connected with 10 people. By the second month, I should have whittled down those 10 connections to 5 significant connections. Then what does that significant mean? I itemize it. By the third month, that 5, I should have been able to develop 2 so that those 2 will be my 2 significant connections for that quarter. And then, of course, I'll develop a plan to sustain the connections. It's not just to make them, to sustain it. So I've just given us a quick example of how to define your goals and identify key performance indicators in our personal lives. You can apply this in your business. You can apply this in that team that you lead, whether it's a team in church, you lead the choir, apply it there. You lead anything, any team, you can apply this there and get it done. If, for example, looking at the example of you want to live healthier, you can begin to say, I will work out 3 times in a week. Now, because you have put it 3 times in a week, the next thing is to drill down and say, okay, not just 3 times in a week out there. I can say every Monday, Wednesday, Fridays or something. See, let the targets be more defined. Let there be things that you can track. So identify key performance indicators. All right. The next concept in measuring the impact of change is to collect baseline data. Now, I think this is where many, including me, many of us, we never bothered to collect baseline data. That is, what is the situation before the change? What is the situation? Gather pre-change data. I think that's a good way to describe baseline data. Pre-change data, what is it? I weigh so many pounds. And of course, I now have my target of maybe 2 pounds every month. I don't know. Whatever. It's up to you how you define your goals. But because you have your data for today, you have all the metrics. See, now, this means that I cannot just say I am weighing 70 kg, I'm weighing 90 kg, I'm weighing 100 kg today. That is not enough. When you gather baseline data, it means you go as far as my waist is this cm, my hips is this cm at the start, my arms, my thighs, whatever, measure, have base data that is more than just, oh, I'm 100 kg today, for example. So you measure your waist, your hips, your thighs, your arms, have full, complete baseline data so that you can have what to compare to. Now, the danger of just saying I'm weighing 100 kg today and I want to lose maybe 2 kgs every 3 months, whatever the goal is. The danger of that is that if by month 1, you have not started losing any weight, you might become discouraged. But when you have base data of not just your weight, you also have the measurements, like I said, you can use the measurements to track and not just the overall goal of losing weight. You can use, I started off, I could only do 2 sit-ups. You can use your improved ability now I can do 5 sit-ups. That is progress. But if the whole goal that you have is just I want to lose 100 kg, you wouldn't you wouldn't even know that there is an improvement. Because now you can do 10 sit-ups. Because now you can walk 40 minutes. But you need to be able to have had that base data that before I could only walk for 5 minutes. See, all this together will help ensure that you are achieving your goals. Now, if my only matrix I had was just I'm weighing 100 kg, and by next month, for example, I've not lost any weight, the scale has not moved, I will become discouraged. And I might even give up and say, look, this thing is not working. I've tried, I've done my best, it's not working. Not knowing that I've lost half an inch in my waist. Not knowing that now I can walk 20 minutes without being tired. You see how having a lot of information on the base pre-change data helps. Okay, so I hope that made that clear. Even if your goal is, oh, I want to gain, I want to learn a new skill, for example. What skill do you have now? Sit down, write it out. Write it down. Let me remove that if. Write it down. This is the skills I have. And not just these are the skills I have. Is it at intermediate level? Is it at expert level? Have these things all written out. That way, one, yes, you can track better, but it will also help you not lose motivation, because when it's just one global goal, it's easy to lose motivation. Okay, so collect baseline data so that you can compare it with the data as you are going. That is why it's important to collect baseline data and let it not just be one piece of data. Collect, gather baseline data. The next thing we want to look at is to monitor your progress regularly. Don't just wait till the end of the 3 months that you have set and then you want to check how far. If you were going backwards, let me say, or you were not making any progress, you wouldn't know till the end. So it's essential to track or monitor your progress regularly. Okay, going back to our weight loss or healthy journey example we have been using throughout this series, it's essential that not just that you you might not even weigh yourself, but not just that you weigh yourself periodically, but that you also check all those measurements of your waist that we talked about. Check how far you can now walk. Check how much exercise you're able to do now regularly. Do it regularly, excuse me. Do it regularly. Don't just wait till the end of the 3 months. For example, that is your period that you want to achieve this change by. Do regular progress reports, regular checkups. And it's easier when you have your base data. Remember, when you have gathered sufficient baseline data, you can track easily and ensure that this tracking is done regularly. So for the business that is trying to improve customer retention, you track complaints, for example. How many complaints do you get? And by the time you look and see that your complaints are reducing, you will know that you're improving customer retention, because if people are not complaining, they're staying. If they're not having any issues with your services, they would stay. You can track, what else can you even track on that using that example? In fact, I don't know right now, I can't think of any other specifics, but that one just came to my head right off the bat. Being able, we're checking a 20% increase in customer retention, and you can track complaints. That would definitely help you know. You can even look at the records of your customers. How many customers, how many repeat customers, yes, this would be a good way to track too. How many repeat customers did we have last week? How many are we having this week? These are the things that will help you track. But if you don't do it regularly, you would lose the information they contain, and you would lose the ability to change. That is to make or to adapt. That's the word, not even change. You will lose the ability to adapt when things are not going quite as expected because you're not tracking regularly. So monitor your progress regularly. Monitor your progress regularly. For example, for the healthy living, have a weekly meal plan, but track it to ensure you're following it and see when you're deviating so that you can make adjustments. All right. The next thing is to measure both qualitative and quantitative outcomes. That means you're tracking both qualitative, that is the figures, the facts and figures. You're tracking those things, and you're also tracking the measures that are subjective. That is not facts, that is not, figures. For example, like looking at the customer retention example, a quantitative figure to data to track will be like, okay, sales growth or cost savings. Now, these are qualitative data. You can see them. They are on paper. They are in plain black and white. You can check how many sales you made. You can check how much money you saved. Those are qualitative. They are hard facts. Let me use that word. Then they're also qualitative data that you cannot quite say, let's say describe in 1, 2, 3 figures. For example, you can do like customer satisfaction surveys. Now, a customer satisfaction survey would not give you a 1, 2, 3 idea of what is happening, but it will help you know how customers are feeling about your brand. So a customer survey, a satisfaction survey would be a qualitative outcome that you can measure because it doesn't come in numbers. Okay. For someone on a personal journey, quantitative outcome to track could be like, the weight loss we're talking about. How much weight did you lose? That is facts and figures. You climb the scale and you see it. Or for someone that is on a personal improvement journey, you can say, okay, how many books did you read? This is what I can feel it. I can touch it. I read 3 books. I lost 1 kg. I climbed the scale. It is visible. It is there. That is the quantitative. I will not bite my tongue today. That is the quantitative data. Then the qualitative data for like a personal growth could be, how do you feel? Looking at the person that is trying to improve their health, live healthier, lose weight. How do you feel? Do you feel better emotionally? Do you feel better? Are you more confident? Now, these are things we can't, be empirical about, that I feel better. It's qualitative, it's subjective, because what would make me feel better might not make you feel better. But it's essential to track both. It's the combination of both those quantitative data and the qualitative ones, the results that are objective, that are, you can see it, it is there, and the results that are like emotional, that is a feeling, that are more subjective. You need to track both. You need to keep record of both. For on a personal level, maintaining a journal would help you track how you're feeling. That would help you track how you're feeling, aside from the stepping on the scale to see your weight, your emotions, how you're feeling, because those ones are not they are subjective. Because what would mean progress for me might not be progress for you. But for the quantitative ones, progress is progress. Lost 1 kg is lost 1 kg. Nobody can dispute it. You lost 1 kg, you lost 1 kg. A step on the scale, it is visible there. But the emotional well-being is not something anybody can really assess objectively. So, but it's essential to track both. It's essential to track both. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about, I'm looking at time, is use feedback mechanism. This is what is going to help you track the impact of change. That is what we are talking about today, being able to assess the impact of change, being able to measure the impact of change. So we've talked about defining your goals clearly. We talked about that. We talked about identifying key performance indicators that would help you. We have talked about collecting baseline data, and we've talked about monitoring progress regularly. So I think, we've also just talked about measuring both quantitative and qualitative data. You have to measure both. Now I want to look at using feedback to help us monitor the impact of change, to help us see the impact of change. That is being able to use certain tools, certain processes to gather input. The input from stakeholders, from whoever is being impacted in one way or the other by the change that we're undertaking. So we need to get feedback. We have to have a process of getting feedback. This is not just feedback on the quantitative things. Well, the feedback is you climb scale, you've lost weight, or you look at your books and you see that your sales are improving, your sales are increasing. That is a form of feedback. But you could also get feedback from doing surveys, sending out, having suggestion boxes, sending out employee surveys to get what people are, people's assessment of this change you have embarked on. How far, how well is it being received? How much impact has it made? This mechanism of feedback helps you assess the impact of the change initiative you've initiated. It's very essential and important. So feedback is essential. When you get feedback, you will know whether there's a need to tweak something. You will know whether there's a need to change up something a little bit. But when you don't have any feedback, you might think all is well. Maybe the figures are even looking good, but you also need this, that's qualitative feedback to help you assess if you do need to make any changes, if you need to tweak anything. For example, you can ask your mentor on a personal journey of growth. You can ask a mentor to give you feedback to assess your something like that. Or for example, okay, let's assume you want to be a public speaker or something. I don't know. You would need to ask someone after you do your speech to give you an assessment of the speech. That would help you get feedback, that will help you improve, that will help you make adjustments. I remember some years back, I did a presentation somewhere, and I didn't seek this feedback, but the feedback came and it helped me. I did a presentation somewhere, and someone met me afterwards, and initially, let me be upfront. Initially, when I heard the person's feedback, I felt it was bad belly. If you're in Nigeria, you know what is bad belly. I felt the person was just being critical, unnecessarily critical. But because I've learned over the years to appreciate feedback, whether positive or negative. I had to sit down and look at that feedback he gave me. And I saw some things that were, that would help me in future. I took them. So this is one thing I want to say about feedback. We need to ensure that we don't take feedback personal. Even if the person meant it to be personal, even if the person meant it to bring you down, you don't have to allow it to bring you down. I've come to learn that for me personally, every feedback for me, there's something in it. There is something that I can take away from it. There is a lesson that I can take away from that. So I ensure that I don't take feedback personal. This will help you on your journey of growth, on your journey of bettering yourself. Don't take feedback personal. Look at it that in the midst of this criticism, there must be something. There must be something for me to learn, and then pick the lessons and throw away the rest, honestly. Just chuck it in the dustbin. Chuck it in the dustbin. Okay, the next thing I want to look at is to adjust your strategies based on your findings. Excuse me, this is one way to measure the impact of change. Because you're getting feedback, right? Both quantitative and qualitative. You're getting the feedback. You're measuring them against your base data. Now, the important thing is to be able to use this data you have gathered to make adjustments, either to your approach, to whatever, to make corrections, because maybe you're seeing some deviations from the information you have gathered. So this is why you can't take feedback personal, because you require it to adjust your strategies. You require that feedback to adjust the plan without changing the core of the plan. So you require that feedback so you can adjust your strategies based on the things that you have found out. Tammy Lekara, welcome. Sorry, I didn't notice when you came in earlier. Welcome. That is on Facebook. Thank you for joining me this afternoon on Growth Habits. Remember that today we are doing an experiment. We are live both on Facebook and on Instagram. So if you join on any of those platforms, once again, do let me know so that I can appreciate you. So I was talking about adjusting our strategies based on our findings. If you don't take feedback personal, you are more able to find the gems hidden in that feedback. Because I'm yet to see feedback someone gave me that had no gems inside, that was of no value to me. I'm yet to see it. And that's because I choose not to take the feedback personal. It doesn't matter what the person intended. It really doesn't. Because, sometimes people give you feedback in order to bring you down. That is their intention. We know it. It's life. We know that is how it is. But you must not take it. Don't have to. So don't take feedback personal. Excuse me. Needed to drink a little bit of water. Don't take it personal. It is hard. It's not easy. It is hard to do that, to sit with criticism and not take it personal. It's not easy, but it's something that by the time you do over time, you become used to it, you become adjusted to it, and after a while, it becomes the norm for you to not take feedback personal. This is important on your journey to be better, on your journey to grow. You cannot take feedback personal. When you do, or if you do, you have set yourself up. You have set yourself up to not achieve your goals, because people can plan for your downfall simply by the things they tell you, the feedback they give you. So ensure that you use that feedback to adjust your strategy, use that feedback to refine your approach, use that feedback to correct any deviations. Very important and very essential. And with this, when you do these things that we have talked about today, you will find that you are measuring the change impact. You are measuring the impact of the change. You're making adjustments where necessary. You're, tweaking things where necessary. But with that, you can track the impact of your change. You can track whether you're in line with your change or you have begun to derail. You'll be able to track it and be able to sustain your growth. Oh, thank you, Eka. I'm just seeing you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes. 2024 has been a year. We have journeyed. We have journeyed. And 2025 will be a better year. Better year. We will go further. We will go, faster, hopefully, but we'll definitely go further in 2025. So these are the key concepts in measuring the impact of change. It's essential that we keep this in mind. Today is the last day of 2024. For some people, they're already in 2025. Yeah, in some parts of the world, they're already in 2025. So as you move into this new year, as you try to make your plans for the new year, as you try to navigate 2025, bear in mind the things that we have discussed in this series on change management. Bear in mind that one, change will happen. It's constant. Bear in mind that there will always be resistance to change. Always. There will always be resistance to change. Bear in mind that in order to conquer, in order to move forward, in order to make advances in this coming year, in your plans, in your goals, in your targets, in the things you want to do, in the things you want to achieve, in your attempt to move from here to that future desired state that you want to be in, there will be resistance. But note that you can take that resistance and turn it to your good. You can take that resistance and make it improve you. So remember, don't take feedback personal. So important. Do not take feedback personal. Do not take feedback personal. Even if the person meant it to be personal, it doesn't even matter. The choice to take it is yours. People will always sling mud. They will. They will always sling. You don't have to just catch it. You don't have to catch the mud. They will sling it. So I think with this, we have come to the end of this session and the end of this series on change management. If you missed any of the sessions, you can still go back to our YouTube channel, Growth Habits with Ngozi, and you will see all the sessions on the whole since the beginning. All the sessions are there on YouTube. But for this change management series, you can follow it up on our YouTube channel, Growth Habits with Ngozi. It is there. Remember that we are opening up the slots for our mentorship for 2025. Initially, I said it's February, but I'm rethinking it, but it's open anyway. There's a seller link on Facebook. I will post it later on Instagram. Click on that link and you will see all that we offer: our one-on-one clarity sessions, our 1 month mentorship, 3 months mentorship, 6 months mentorship, 1 year mentorship, and our group mentorship. They're all open for the year. Click on that link and select the one that you're interested in. Do all the necessary things and I will get the information that you have done, you have made your payments and all that, and then we will have a discussion. If nothing else in this year, please book your one-on-one 1 hour clarity session. If nothing else. Because in those sessions, I don't talk much in those sessions, funny enough. Because, one person, I don't know what she expected anyway. Obviously, she doesn't know me well. I don't know what she expected when she booked her one-on-one clarity session. Maybe she expected me to give her all this barrage of ideas. But my sessions are not for me to tell you what to do. They are for me to help you get clarity on what you want to do. So I, started off with, tell me, what is it? What is it that you want to achieve? And she, itemized one or two things. And at each point, I would ask another set of questions. And, from there, we kept moving. At the point, she was like, come, madam, ma, I'm the one doing all the work. I said, yes, it is you that will do the work. It's not my place to tell you what to do. It's not my place to it is my place to direct you, but I will not tell you what to do. You will figure it out by yourself. What happens when I give you, oh, just do this? What happens is that if there's any problem, there's any challenge, you'll be like, she's the one that told me. But when you come up with your solution by yourself, you reason out by yourself, you think it through by yourself, no one can convince you that this is not the way you should go. So please book your one-on-one clarity session, just 1 hour. Remember, sometime this year, I gave those things out for free. So some people took advantage of it, but they're no longer free. There is a fee to it. Please go on that seller link and book your one-on-one clarity session. At least before the end of January, everyone should have had that session, even if it's not, with me. Whoever is, the person you're following, you should have had that one-on-one session, sitting with them and figuring out what to do next before the end of January, so that highest February, you're off and running. Usually you should have done that by now. Generally, everybody should have sat down and figured out 2025 by now. When I say that, of course, you cannot know everything, but at least you would have had your basic plan for 2025 by now. So if you have not, there's still that opportunity. Book your one-on-one clarity session. Let's get you going on that path that you need to be on. Thank you all once again for joining me. Remember, this is Growth Habits with Ngozi. Those are on Instagram. I'm sure this is your first time coming in contact with Growth Habits with Ngozi. Thank you for joining me. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm seeing a couple of people, Zokoli, Kola Olaiton, Mwiche, Nkiruka. Oh, okay. Thank you for joining me today. On Facebook, Eka Briggs, Major Okela, Ozo Kelkoli Kochifi, Tamile Kara, thank you all for joining me today. As I always say, it's my pleasure and it's an honor that you choose to spend this 1 hour with me. On Facebook, we have been doing this for a while. On Instagram, this is our first time going live on Instagram. Well, we usually spend 1 hour discussing growth, different aspects of growth and how we can navigate it. I always say that I'm your personal guide on the journey of growth, and I will remain your personal guide on the journey of growth. Thank you, Coach Ify. She said, thank you for all I did this year. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Coach Ify, for being there also. In fact, there are some relationships that, social media has changed a lot of things. I've not met Coach Ify physically, but you would assume when you see maybe our interaction, we'll assume that we've known each other. But we met on the streets of Facebook. So that is one good thing about social media. Thank you, Coach Ify, for being there this 2024. Please, if you have any need along the lines of stress management, Coach Ify is your go-to. Just reach out to her. She has a lot of programs in that area. Reach out to her and join one of her programs dealing with stress management. She's a stress management coach. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. I wanted to say privilege and I changed to pleasure. See how that got tangled up in my mouth. So it's been a privilege. It's been a pleasure for me to share this 2024 with each and every one of us. It's been a journey. We've gone far. We discussed a lot of things. We brought in guests. We had a time that the conversations we had, different people come and share their stories of growth. And we will still do something like that in 2025. We'll still have people come on and share with us. We have a lot. We have a lot to do in 2025. Thank you, Zokoli. Thank you, each and every one of you, for a beautiful year. And I trust that 2025 will be better, because we will be intentional about growing. We'll be intentional about making a difference in our lives personally and generally in our world. We'll be intentional in doing the things that we need to do. We'll not just make grandiose plans. We will be specific, and we will ensure that the plans we are making, we are tracking our progress, and we're ensuring that we are doing what needs to be done. Thank you all once again for joining me this afternoon. Okay, there will be no growth habits next week. I'm having a rethink now. I had said I would not have the sessions next week, but let's see. Let's see. I will put up the notice on the group if the session will hold next week. Maybe we'll have like a Q&A next week. Yes. Let's do a Q&A next week before I take my break. I wanted to take a break, but now I'm fired up. I want to keep going. So we will have our session next week, Tuesday, and it's going to be a question and answer session. Come with your questions on, I guess, anything that we have discussed this year, anything that has to do with growth. If you come with personal questions, I will answer, but know that I'm going to answer you well, to the best of my ability. But if you truly, truly need guidance, book a 1-hour clarity session or book a full mentorship program for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, what have you. Thank you for joining me once again. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook, Growth Habits with Ngozi; Instagram, Growth Habits with Ngozi; TikTok, Growth Habits with Ngozi; YouTube, Growth Habits with Ngozi; and also my personal Facebook page, Ngozi Onwocholoba; my personal Instagram page, Ngozi Ka-O. Follow me on all my social media handles. You will not regret it. Thank you for sharing this 1 hour and your 2024 with me. I look forward to an exciting 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. Have a year full of good things, a year full of progress, a year that is full of advancements, a year that is full of growth, a year where you make impact. There's something I always say, and it's remember to make today and every day count. Make it count. Be valuable and ensure that you are growing. See you all next time. Bye for now.